Good evening, welcome to Culinary Episodes. Tonight we're going to do a simple chicken pot pie. We've had some requests to do some all-in-one dishes and some more simplified dishes, so we're going to use a pre-baked pie shell, and for the topping we're going to use Bisquick. It's going to be really simple. Now we're going to put a twist on this. It's going to be a chicken pot pie, but we're going to make it a Chicken-Cordon Bleu-pot pie, so meaning we're going to add ham and cheese. So the first step, we're going to par bake our pie shell, and you just want to score the bottom just like that around the bottom so it doesn't puff up, and then we're going to cover the edges with foil so it doesn't brown. You just want to cover those like so. And then we're going to bake this at 350 for about 7 to 10 minutes. Okay, so for the next step with this, the Chicken-Cordon Bleu-pot pie, we've got our ham. We're using a little ham end like this, a Hormel or whatever you find in the grocery store. Cut off some slabs about that thick, about a 1/4 inch thick, as you can see. And we're just going to dice this. So, okay, like that. And then we used a rotisserie chicken. Now you can either buy your own chicken and roast it, or you can buy a fully roasted chicken. Either way. Remove the breasts. If you want to use the dark meat, you can use the legs and thighs also. I prefer breast meat in this, so you just remove the breasts and just same thing. Just slice this up, and we're going to dice this also. And the amount here I'm using is enough for 2 pies, so judge it however much you want. If you're going to use both breasts, it's definitely enough for at least 2 pies. Okay, so we got our chicken and ham, and then we got the rest of our ingredients. We're using, again, to simplify it, frozen peas, because shucking fresh peas is a really tedious job, so we're just going to use frozen. An onion, fresh diced carrots, and some mushrooms. Okay, so we're going to begin making our filling. We're going to start out by sauteing the carrots. They're the toughest one to soften. They're fresh and they're firm, so we want to start with them. And we're just going to soften these up a little bit, maybe 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And then we're going to add the onions, the mushrooms, and the peas, and then the meat on top of that. And this is going to be the filling for our so the carrots are sauteed down like that. They're not too soft. About 2 minutes. Now we're going to add our onions. And the same thing we always do with the onions, we're just going to saute these until translucent. And to this, we're just going to add a shot of pepper. No salt, because the chicken stock in this is really salty. We got our onions translucent here, and then we're going to add our mushrooms. Get out of there. Give these a good stir. Saute these until they're soft or slightly soft. Okay, so now we got our mushrooms sauteed down like that. You see how much is left? It really shrinks down. So now we're going to add two more pats of butter, and we're going to melt this down to make the roux, just like you saw us do in a bunch of other videos with the burgundy beef pot pie, with the sauce for the roast pork, anything like this where you're going to make a thickened sauce, make the roux on the bottom with the vegetables. So we're just going to melt this down and then add flour to it and stir it up until it's a thick paste. Got our butter melted down. Now we're going to add flour. And just stir this in. And it's going to clump together like that. That's perfectly fine. That's the thickening agent for the sauce, for the pot pie filling. So now right on top of that, we're going to add the chicken and the ham. And just stir this in. It's all fully cooked, so it doesn't have to be cooked. We just want to get it mixed in there. Okay, and to that, we're going to add our peas. Add some fresh thyme. Just gently stir this. Now you don't want to bust up the peas. They're fragile and all, so now we're going to add our chicken stock on top of this. And that's about it. Just put enough in there to cover it like that. We're going to give it a stir. And we're going to turn up the heat to medium-high. Bring this to a boil, and then lower it and just let it simmer and cook off this liquid until it's a thick sauce. It's going to be what they call a chicken velouté sauce. And that's it, and then we'll take you to the next step, which is assembling the pie. Okay, so while our filling is cooking here, we're going to make our topping. So you can see the directions on the Bisquick box. It's simple. It's the right amount of Bisquick mix to the right amount of milk. And just mix it together, and that's all it is. I've even made this with water, so you can if you need to. It just comes out a little better, a little more flavorful with that little bit of fat in there from the milk. You can use a little cream if you want. It just gets sticky like that. And that's it. You just want to make sure there's no dry flour here, and that's it. That's all we're going to do. And then I'll show you how we're going to make the topping. We're going to do it a little bit different. There's several ways you can do it. You can make dumplings out of this and just take drops and plop it on top of the chicken pot pie. Or you can take it and try to spread it, but it's a little too sticky and gluey to do that because the pot pie is wet. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this, lay it out on a pan and bake it first, and then use it like a cap on top of the pie. So you'll see how this is done in a minute. To our pot pie, what we're going to do is take a little oil like this, and then on some foil or wax paper, just brush it like that. And then we're going to take our Bisquick mix and just plop it down here, and we're just going to spread it out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it to where it looks like it'll fit the top of the pie. You patch that up. It's really gluey and sticky to work with, but it's delicious. So. And that's it. We're going to bake it just like that in a 350-degree oven, and just keep an eye on it. We're ready to assemble our Chicken-Cordon Bleu-pot pie. We got our filling here. You can see the chicken kind of broke up, thickened it up as well, and that's what you're looking for, that kind of consistency. You don't want it too loose because it's just going to be wet when you cut it, so you want it to get really nice and thick like that. So we're just going to fill our pie. And this is one of those really nice all-in-one dinners, one baked dish. So we do that, and we take our Swiss cheese or Jarlsberg, shredded, put it on here like this, and put a fair amount, covered just like that. You want it to be nice and cheesy and gooey. And then we're going to take our top here. We took it out of the oven. It's okay if it breaks up a little bit. It's just like biscuits. So we just take a piece at a time. I'm going to put it right on like that. Just like so. Okay, and then it goes back into the oven for 5 minutes just to plate our Chicken-Cordon Bleu-pot pie. Now, don't worry about it when you plate it. It's going to look a little bit of a mess, but it's delicious, believe me. Usually, if you get in a restaurant, it comes in one ramekin or in one bowl all baked together, so it looks nice. But when you bake it for a family like this, it's going to fall apart, so don't worry about it. Just get a spatula under there, cut it first with a knife, and then just get under there and just plate it like that. And you can see the portion size, it's pretty good. And then we're just going to garnish it with a little more cheese and some parsley and maybe a shot of pepper. And that's it. There you go. It's a one-pot meal. Give it a try. It's a nice spin on chicken pot pie. It's something different. Everybody will love it, especially kids. Thank you very much. Have a good night.